Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my new Daredevil video. Recently, Charlie Cox was talking more about coming back as Daredevil and Matt Murdock in the MCU and what Marvel has planned for the character next, as well as talking more about coming back in Spider-Man No Way Home. There are a couple monster-sized deleted scenes of Daredevil from Spider-Man No Way Home in the bonus features, so I'll talk about those too during the video. There were a bunch of Kingpin deleted scenes during Hawkeye that you probably saw as well that'll tie in with this, so I'll reference those too. And if all those deleted scenes weren't enough, Marvel's also releasing a bunch of Super Bowl trailers this weekend I'll be doing videos for. We have a Moon Knight trailer and a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer video, so it's gonna be crazy this weekend. But recently this past week, you may have seen Charlie Cox talking about his future as Daredevil, Matt Murdock in the MCU. He's really excited about this. He did this big fan convention where he talks about doing more crossovers and doing more legit Daredevil episodes, like a Daredevil revival series. This is the clip of him talking about that.
I feel so lucky to have been cast in that role, and it is the gift that keeps on giving. I loved every single minute of making the show. And so to be asked to come back and to be involved in any capacity is absolutely thrilling to me. And I hope, I don't want to sound greedy, but I hope I get to do loads more. I hope I get to be involved way, way more for many years. I hope it never ends. I hope it gets to the point where people are like, you're too old to be playing this part. I don't know what their plans are, but yes, my hope is that I get to do as much as I'm allowed to do, and to be involved. And it'd be really fun. The one thing that being in the MCU allows that we couldn't really do with the Netflix stuff is that I can now interact with other MCU characters. So that would be really cool. Crossovers would be is the thing I would like to do next. I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know what they're planning and all that kind of stuff, but there are some really interesting stories there that I'd love for the character to explore.
The funny thing about Charlie Cox is that he's been like this for the last couple of years, ever since they canceled the Daredevil Netflix series and people were theorizing that he would come into the MCU. There were rumors about it. He was saying all the same stuff, like, I would love to come back. This is so amazing. I will play this character till I die. They'll have to force me to stop playing Daredevil. But he is being a little misleading with some of his comments in this clip. He actually does know more about where Daredevil is going to appear in the MCU next. But obviously the big thing here is that he's hyping up MCU crossovers with other big characters. And recently Tom Holland was also saying that he wanted to do more Spider-Man Daredevil crossovers, which would probably happen in Spider-Man 4. It would be more likely that they do that than they have Spider-Man show up during a new Marvel Daredevil series on Disney+. Currently, this is how Marvel has mapped out the Mavel Phase 4 story arc for Daredevil with Charlie Cox, starting with Spider-Man No Way Home. And I'll also mention Kingpin during this too, because a lot of what's happening with Kingpin was happening around the same time that we were seeing Daredevil. So it starts in Spider-Man No Way Home. The majority of that movie takes place before Hawkeye in the timeline, but both of them do end during the same Christmas holiday period. Because the ending scene of Spider-Man swinging around in the new costume shows the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center in the ice rink has not been destroyed by Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and Yelena Belova yet. You have to picture the two of them running around fighting the Tracksuit Bros and Yelena Belova, Kingpin in the background, while Spider-Man is swinging around the city in the new suit here.
Don't leave, Eleanor. Come here. Let's talk.
During Spider-Man No Way Home, Daredevil shows up to help Peter Parker with his Mysterio problem, the lawsuit Damage Control is trying to bring against him, Happy Hogan, the rest of them. All the Spider-Man No Way Home Daredevil deleted scenes are related to this subplot. The first one is an extended version of the interrogation scene when they're being grilled by Damage Control. I believe Daredevil shows up at the end of that to take their case and to help them out. Then they all go back to Aunt May's old apartment together, and that's when they have the scene of him catching the brick, using his abilities, telling Peter he's a really good lawyer. And then tells Happy Hogan he will definitely need to find himself a really good lawyer. There's also a second Daredevil deleted scene in the movie where they pay that scene off, and it's more of Happy Hogan with his very good lawyer, quote-unquote, Matt Murdock. So 2 Daredevil deleted scenes. The funny thing about this is that Jon Favreau himself was in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie as that version of Foggy Nelson.
Listen to this. Eyewitnesses say that Quesada was singled out by the demonic vigilante known as the Daredevil.
I don't know why you read that trash.
I've been hearing stories about this guy for years. There's got to be something to it.
What, like the alligators in the sewers?
There are alligators in the sewers. Don't ride my ass about the alligators. I got a friend in sanitation, okay? He's seen them.
So there's this real Daredevil meta thing going on between these 2 different versions of Daredevil being brought together. But then after that in the background, while Spider-Man is busy dealing with the multiverse problem, between the time jump at the end of the film when they're at Aunt May's grave together, Matt Murdock wound up helping Happy avoid serious jail time. Then next, a little bit later in the timeline, Daredevil is going to cross over in the She-Hulk episodes as another lawyer who knows Jennifer Walters. After she becomes She-Hulk, she continues to be a lawyer defending superheroes, which is also something Daredevil does. They both live and work in the New York City area by day and are vigilantes on the side by night, so it makes sense that they would run into each other during those episodes. And reportedly, Daredevil will be in multiple She-Hulk episodes. It won't just be a quick cameo. Kingpin is not supposed to appear in She-Hulk. He won't come back till the Maya Lopez Echo series that Marvel just revealed. Even though the way they played his ending very ambiguously, they made you think that she killed him at the end of Hawkeye, he is not dead. That moment was right out of the comics. She just winds up blinding him temporarily with the shot.
Sometimes family doesn't see eye to eye.
You probably saw a bunch of Hawkeye Kingpin deleted scenes in your feeds recently that helped explain more of what's going on with Kingpin in the MCU right now, helped set up the Maya Lopez Echo series. I'll do videos for all of them later this week when they start releasing them. But after She-Hulk, both Daredevil and Kingpin are supposed to be main characters in all those Echo episodes. Supposedly that series is supposed to be like an unofficial Daredevil Season 4, and they'll bring back more of the Daredevil Netflix characters for that. But then after the Echo series, Marvel is reportedly going to develop a full-blown Daredevil revival series on Disney+, like we've all been asking for. Like, just give us a new Daredevil series or some sort of continuation of the Daredevil Netflix series on Disney+. By that time, they'll have already revealed what his new MCU Daredevil costumes look like. Multiple costumes. There are reports that Marvel's going to put him in a version of the yellow costume at some point during these upcoming episodes. But he won't be going back to the original Daredevil Netflix version of the red costume. They're doing a totally different version of that for the MCU. Probably trying to be a little bit more comic book accurate with it too. Even though I was a fan of the Netflix version of the costume. There are going to be 9 She-Hulk episodes, and they're supposed to come this year after the Moon Knight episodes. I'm not expecting Daredevil to be in any of the trailers. Remember how we all knew that Kingpin was going to be in Hawkeye, Yelena Belova too, but they waited to show both of them in the trailers until the last possible second. It's probably going to be the same thing with Daredevil and She-Hulk. It's just that we're going to get way more of Daredevil and She-Hulk than we got of Kingpin in the Hawkeye episodes. They aren't going to wait till like the last 2 episodes of She-Hulk for him to show up. For those of you asking if the events of the Daredevil Netflix series are now canon to the MCU, Vincent D'Onofrio said that he was playing the same version of Kingpin during the Hawkeye episodes, and he was wearing the exact same cufflinks that he wore in the Daredevil Netflix series. Those belonged to his father, by the way. That was the significance of them. That was why he was so obsessed with the cufflinks. Here's the way that Kevin Feige treats that kind of stuff. Every single second of every Netflix series episode for all those characters and the expanded characters will not totally be canon, but a giant chunk of it is now canon. Like some of it, but not all of it. Like The Undertaking is probably not going to be canon to the MCU now from the Defenders series. And when Marvel does a new version of Iron Fist in the MCU, it'll probably be totally different from what we saw in the Netflix series. Totally different actor, totally different vibe for the character. There are rumors that Kristen Ritter is going to come back as Jessica Jones during She-Hulk, and they'll treat the character the same way they did with Daredevil in Spider-Man No Way Home and Kingpin during Hawkeye.
No.
But it's sort of like a one character at a time situation. They do this with Star Wars all the time, with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau plucking stuff out of Legends and making it canon again.
Where is your master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
It is funny seeing Rosario Dawson, after playing Night Nurse in the Daredevil Netflix series in the Marvel universe, now showing up in the live-action Star Wars universe. She can still come back as Night Nurse. Just because she's in Star Wars doesn't mean she can't also do future MCU stuff. I'll talk more specifically about canon, timelines for the character's backstory with Avengers Endgame, the Snap, the Blip, when we see more footage of them in the upcoming shows. But just generally, I do not think that Daredevil got snapped. Mike Coulter says he has not been contacted about coming back as Luke Cage in any capacity, and he's doing a bunch of other TV shows right now, so it seems like he's booked up. But that doesn't mean Netflix Luke Cage won't come back. The only character that I think they'll flat out just reboot, reimagine completely from the ground up will be Netflix Iron Fist. During a lot of my Shang-Chi videos, I talked about how I think the new version of Iron Fist, if they do wind up doing an Iron Fist in the MCU at all, will come up through the Shang-Chi sequels or will be tied to that mythology somehow. My Hawkeye Kingpin deleted scenes should start posting soon. Make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss it. And those Marvel Super Bowl trailers, the Moon Knight trailer and the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer. Everyone click here for my new Spider-Man Multiverse video and click here for my full Moon Knight trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.